Good day to each and everyone. I'm Javelin Basilisco, and today we will discuss, together with my partner Angeli Diniega, Unit 2 Instructional Planning in Lesson 5 Basics of Instructional Planning. Before we start, I prepared an activity. All you need to do is to fill the missing letters to form a word and have a clue with the picture. Okay, very good. You got the correct answer. The picture implies instructional planning. Planning is a vital key to a successful endeavor, whether it is celebrating a birthday party, implementing a government project, or graduating on time with honors. It is essential to plan to ensure the achievement of desired goals. The same holds true in the classroom setting. Pre-service and new teachers are required to write detailed lesson plans, while experienced teachers prepare lesson logs before they teach the subject. This will ensure that activities and materials are well prepared, class time is maximized, and the instructional goals are attained. At the end of this lesson, students are expected to describe the process of instructional planning. Next, differentiate the types of instructional planning. Another, explain the importance of instructional planning. And lastly, develop a unit plan for one grade level based on the K-12 curriculum guide for social studies. Think of it. You and your college friends booked a trip to Karan Palwan, which is scheduled in less than 2 months. How would you plan your excursion? A month before the trip, it is best if you have reserved a hotel or inn where you will be staying. If you plan on availing a tour package, you should have coordinated with itinerary with them a week before the trip. Finally, a day before the trip, you should have packed all your bags and ensure that you have your travel essentials with you. Coming up with a detailed plan will ensure that your itinerary is organized and you and your friends will fully enjoy your vacation. Instructional planning is very much the same as planning for a trip. There are things that you should be prepared and considered in different stages of the school year. Before the school year starts, some are before a particular quarter, and others before the actual lesson. Having a detailed plan is also beneficial if you want to organize a classroom instruction, maximize time for teaching and learning, and have a fun-filled and productive school year. Before anything else, it is important to understand what instructional planning is. According to the Department of Education 2016, instructional planning is the process of systematically planning, developing, evaluating, and managing the instructional process by using principles of teaching and learning. The teacher attempts to organize the different ingredients of learning with the end goal in mind to ensure that students attain the set curricular goals. This process is ideally done before a lesson, unit, quarter, semester, or school year. However, it is important to note that instructional planning is a continuous process. Plans can be modified or made flexible in order to accommodate the varied needs of learners. So, for instructional planning to be considered effective, it is important for teachers to address these three questions. First question is, what should be taught or unsay atong itudlo as a teacher? Next, how should it be taught? Unsaon nato pagtudlo? And lastly, how should instruction and student learning be assessed? In learning, for effective instruction, there are two vital characteristics are expected for teachers. First, they must be informed decision makers. They need to be fully familiar with the curriculum in order to determine which topics should be given greater emphasis and how standards and competencies could best be realized. They also have to have an idea of their students' prior knowledge, aptitude, and interest, which will be beneficial in choosing appropriate techniques and strategies that will facilitate learning. Knowing the background of your student is very helpful to you as a teacher. Second, teachers must be reflective practitioners. After delivering an instructional plan, they need to revisit the curricular standards and competencies and ensure that these are attained. They also need to track student progress and ponder which techniques and strategies should be retained or discarded. Now, let's move forward to the types of instructional planning. Instructional planning takes on many forms. One way of categorizing it is by looking at the time frame for planning. Under this, three classifications arise. First, a long-range planning, unit planning, and the lesson planning. Let us first discuss the long-range planning. A long-range planning is the scale planning we do to meet goals for whole unit and the entire school year. This type could prove to be the most challenging for beginning teachers, especially since this involves planning for the whole year. At this point, it is important for teachers to do curriculum mapping, the process of determining when you will teach each topic or content, by Bill and Bullock, 2013. Utilizing the curriculum guide, textbooks, and other available resources, it is imperative to ask ourselves, how is it best to divide the topics and standards into quarters and or semesters? Which lessons should be allotted more time and emphasis? How could social studies be integrated with other subjects or with holidays and celebrations throughout the school year? Pondering on these questions before the start of the actual school year is an important step for teachers to be informed decision makers. The curriculum guide serves as the teacher's most important tool in long-range planning. In the Philippines, the existing K-12 curriculum guide for social studies grades 1 to 10 was prepared by the Department of Education. In curriculum planning, a particular grade level, it is important to look at the following. For, First, the grade level standard, which states the overall goal for the year. Second, topic, which describes the general theme of the grade level. And last, content, which outlines the lessons that will be covered. As you can see, this is an example of curriculum mapping, which there is a grade level standard, topic, and the content. The current curriculum guide for every grade level already divided the content into four quarters, as you can see, each one revolving around a specific theme. While this is indeed helpful in planning the whole year, it is important to note that curriculum guides exist as mere guides. Students have different pacing and diverse needs which should ultimately be considered in curriculum mapping. Reflective teachers takes into account these factors and do not just teach for the purpose of covering all the topics. Moreover, reflective teachers ensure that the goals they set for themselves and their students for the school year are aligned with the grade level standards and topic. It is important to revisit these goals often and use them to monitor, implement, and assess their instruction. To continue the report, I will give you Miss Angeli Duniega.